Hey everybody, Crow back again with another video response to Top 3 Tuesday by Michael B. the Game Genie. This week's Top 3 Tuesday is the top 3 import games, and this is actually a subject I'm really interested in seeing what a lot of people do for video responses, because I have a decent number of imported games, but I'm by no means an expert on them, and so I'm always looking into finding out more about import games. Now, Michael B. did do 3 games, and they were 3 games I already knew about, and in fact, I still own one of them, the Splatterhouse Wampaku Graffiti. I have that. That's one of the first imports I ever got, well, for the Famicom. I was actually collecting imports for PS1 since the PS1 was still a relevant system, but yeah, I kind of wanted to limit myself more down, because imported games, that's like an overarching umbrella. It's like a huge thing, and I kind of want to narrow my selections down, and so I've done that to the games that I own personally, and narrowing it even further down to import pinball games. So I do have 3 of them I'm going to talk about, but I do have to have some honorable mentions, because I think that if I don't mention them, people are going to comment in the comments saying, oh, you should look into this. But yeah, I know about this. There's actually a couple of them that I'm thinking about too, looking into. I haven't bought yet, but first one I got to mention here is Digital Pinball Necronomicon. This is an awesome game. In fact, this was in my top 3 until I bumped it out for something else just so I could talk about it. So that's an awesome one. And also Psycho Pinball, kind of like in the vein of Pinball Dreams and Pinball Fantasies. I played those on the PC a long time ago in the 90s, but I guess they got their start on Amiga, I don't know. This is actually a European release. We never got this in the US. I don't know if there was a Japanese release of this actually too, but Codemasters, that's European anyway. So yeah, this was recommended to me a long time ago too. I never actually made a video. I might have made a video. I don't even remember what videos I've made these days. Anyway, let's just move on, press forward, and go on to the list. Alright, first game I have to talk about here is Jackie Crush. Now, since I am talking about imported pinball games, the very first one that should come to mind is Jackie Crush. And why is that? Well, if you're familiar with Alien Crush and Devil's Crush, this is actually the 3rd game in the series by Naxat Soft. And if you liked either of those 2 games, you'll probably like Jackie Crush as well. I mean, that's one of the main reasons I wanted a TurboGrafx 16, was just for Alien Crush and Devil's Crush, and those are 2 of my favorite games on the system. And so I was watching GameSack one day, and that's actually how I found out about Jackie Crush, was that it wound up on one of their videos, one of their early ones, I think. And as soon as I discovered it, I had to search it out and purchase it on eBay. And it actually doesn't go for too much, so it's definitely worth seeking out, and definitely affordable if you're looking for, an import game for the Super Famicom. If you're wondering what the Jackie is, I guess the Jackie is sort of Japanese demon, and I think that might be one of the reasons why this never came out in the US, is because all the references are heavily Japanese. There's a ton of Japanese characters on the table as well. I'm sure that they just figured, you know what, this game might not sell well, why even waste the time trying to convert it for American audiences? So I really can't blame them for not bringing it over, but again, kind of wish they did, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's Jackie Crush. Next game on this list is Fantastic Pinball Q10 Kai. Now, I don't exactly remember where I first heard of this game. It was probably through YouTube somewhere. But when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, this looks pretty cool. And I actually went on eBay and bought a copy. Actually wound up buying a copy for the Sega Saturn. Although this is available for the PlayStation as well, the PlayStation 1, that is. And it looks like the price for both games on eBay, that is, isn't too bad for either of them. Definitely you could get it for less than $30, maybe $40 on the Saturn. It looks like it goes for a little bit more on the Saturn. But what this looks like to me, when I first saw it, the impression I got is it looked a lot like something like Alien Crush or Devil's Crush, but a lot more cartoony. And that's exactly what this is. It's not made by Naxat, but it is made by Technosoft. So I don't think anybody that was involved in this game had anything to do with the Crush series at all. But it does feel a little bit like that. The only difference is that when you start playing, you can select one of 3 characters. And I'm not totally acclimated to the game or anything, but I feel that each character has their own special abilities. So there's a little bit of variety there. Again, you've got your bonus levels and everything, but everything's just really cartoony, and it's a really fun game to play nonetheless. So if you're looking for imported games for the Saturn or for the PlayStation, I would definitely recommend Fantastic Pinball Q10. Alright, the last game I want to talk about here is Family Pinball. Now, this was released in Japan by Namco, and I'm kind of breaking the rules here a little bit, because this was actually released in the US as well, but under the name Rockin' Ball by NTVIC. It was actually developed by a company named Kid. So if this game was released in the US and in Japan, why am I talking about it? You see, this is one of those pinball games where you get to select your character, and the character you select can change the attributes of the flippers you use. So in the Japanese version, all of the characters are based on Namco characters, but in the US they were kind of replaced for more generic characters since Namco didn't release the game here. Moreover, there are 4 different game modes. Now, there's a weird 9-ball type game. Actually, I used to play this version of the game a lot, where you would try to get the balls to sink at the holes and line them up to score points and bet on it or whatever. And then there's head-to-head versions of the game where you battle head-to-head against another player. So it's like a 2-player mode, so to speak. And then there was a sports version of that as well. But the main pinball mode in the Japanese version was based on Pac-Man. So it was a very Pac-Man themed table with the ghosts and, the Pac-Man fruit or whatever. But in the US, it was changed to just a generic rock and roll feel. They changed the colors and they actually moved some stuff around. And that to me is different enough to where I have to actually have both games. As a kid, I played Rockin' Ball. And I don't know how I found out, but when I found out that the Japanese version had all these Pac-Man references in it, I had to get it. But yeah, again, either Family Pinball or Rockin' Ball for the NES or Famicom, I recommend either one of them. Or both, because they're actually both really cheap games. And there you have it, my top 3 import games. Thanks again to Michael B, the Game Genie, for keeping the top 3 alive. See y'all next time.